The snow hit the metal walls like 1,000 fists. Wind howled across the frozen land, shaking the worn-out roof of the old human outpost. Inside, the fire crackled low in a steel drum, casting weak shadows on the stone walls. Amen sat alone, sipping a bitter brew, wrapped in silence. Then came the knock. It was soft at first. He thought the wind was playing tricks. But it came again, louder this time, slow, tired, almost begging. He stood up without a word, grabbed his coat, and walked. To the heavy metal door, he pulled it open and froze. Outside stood a tall, thin alien woman. Her arms were wrapped around a small figure, her child. Both were shaking from the cold. Snow covered their shoulders and hair. Her lips were purple, her eyes wide with fear and desperation. The girl in her arms looked barely alive. The woman took a step forward, then dropped to her knees on the cold ground. Her voice cracked as she spoke. "If you have a heart, let my daughter in. I can pay you with my body, please." The man didn't speak. He looked at the girl, blue-skinned, tiny, barely breathing. Her arms hung loose, her face red from the wind. He didn't think, just reached forward and picked up the child gently. He turned and walked inside. The woman stayed outside for a moment, her eyes full of shock and shame. Then she stood and followed him in, her legs weak. Inside, the heat wrapped around them like a blanket. The man placed the girl near the fire and grabbed thick cloth to dry her. She didn't open her eyes. Her chest still moved, slow but steady. The mother fell to the floor beside her, whispering in her own language, stroking the girl's cold cheeks. Her long silver fingers trembled. The man moved around quietly. He poured warm liquid into a small metal cup and handed it to the woman. She stared at it, confused, then took a sip. Her throat moved as she drank, her eyes watering not from the heat, something deeper. "What's her name?" the man asked, his voice rough from years of silence. "Lyra," the woman said softly. He nodded. "She needs rest." "You both do that." Woman hesitated, then asked, "You won't?" "Take my offer." The man turned to look at her. His eyes were tired but calm. "I don't trade safety for flesh. You're guests here, not slaves." She blinked, unsure how to answer. In her world, no help came without a price. Yet here was a man who gave without asking. The girl, Lyra, stirred for a moment. Her fingers twitched. The mother wrapped her arms tighter around her and rocked gently. "Who are you running from?" the man asked, watching her face. The woman looked down. "Bad people. Rich ones. They said Lyra was broken, unfit. She wasn't strong like others. They wanted her gone, so." "You ran," she nodded, holding back tears. "We walked through the night, the cold. I thought we'd both die before someone opened a door." He looked at the girl again. "Why would they throw her away for being weak?" The mother didn't answer. Her eyes shifted to the fire.
Right.
But something in her silence spoke louder than words. Outside, the wind roared louder, fire popped, and the walls creaked. The man stood up and checked a control panel. Nothing showed on the scanner. But he adjusted a few settings and added wood to the fire. The girl suddenly twitched again this time. Her back arched slightly. A strange blue light shimmered just under her skin, across her ribs. The man noticed. "What was that?" The mother looked scared. I don't know. It happens when she dreams. Is it natural? No. I think they did something. To her? Before I stole her away." His eyes narrowed. "What kind of something?" "They used our children for tests, to create new weapons. Some of them lit up like this before they stopped breathing. The air grew still." The man looked at the girl again. Her soft blue face was calm now, but that glow hadn't been natural. He didn't ask more. Not yet. The fire warmed the room slowly. The woman curled around her child, wrapping the blanket the man gave her over both their bodies. She whispered soft words in a strange language, and the girl finally relaxed. Sinking into sleep, the man sat back in his corner, rifle nearby, eyes sharp. He didn't know who these two were exactly or what they brought with them. But he knew one thing, something about that girl wasn't normal, and something out there might come looking for her soon. The storm raged outside, but inside the outpost, the air was heavy with silence. The fire burned low, the shadows stretched long, the human man sat by the wall. Eyes locked on the two figures asleep near the heat-one alien mother, one strange little girl. She didn't look dangerous. She looked small, cold, and breakable. But something about her was wrong. The blue shimmer under her skin still played in his mind. He'd seen wounds, implants, even body mods, but this glow felt alive. He stood, moved quietly across the room, and checked the outside scanner again. No movement. Just snow and wind. But he didn't relax. Behind him, the mother stirred. Her eyes opened, fast war-trained alert. She sat up and pulled the blanket over her daughter's body again before, whispering, "Is it morning yet?" "No," the man answered without turning. "Still dark?" "Storm's worse now." She nodded slowly. She didn't wake up still breathing. "That's a good start." The woman hugged the girl tighter. Her thin arms trembled again, but not from cold. From memory, he walked over and crouched. Near them, "I need to know. Who are you running from?" She didn't speak at first. Her fingers brushed the child's forehead, pushing back a strand of white-blue hair. Then she whispered, "The collector's pirates worse. Legal ones, rich houses, they buy children like her, breed them, train them, sell them." He frowned. "And what about you?" "I was a servant. When I gave birth to Lyra, they said she was useless. She didn't develop the gifts they wanted. Weak lungs. They called her broken." His voice came out low as they tossed her away. No, her voice cracked. "They gave me a choice, send her pain, or they'd do it themselves." He stared at her, unmoving. "I took her and ran. How far?" "We crossed to provinces, hid in cargo ships. I sold my hair, my jewelry, my voice once. We made it this far, but last night, I thought she'd die in the snow." The man looked at the child. Her skin was smoother now, warmer, but she still hadn't woken. He sat back. "You offered your body to a stranger." Why? The woman didn't answer right away. She looked down, ashamed. "Because no one helps without a price. Not in my world." He watched her for a long moment, then said, "Well, this is mine. And here, you're safe. Not for a price. It's just because you knocked." A tear rolled down her cheek. She wiped it quickly. The room fell quiet again. Then the girl twitched. Her arms jerked slightly. Her eyes fluttered, then rolled back. A strange sound escaped her lips, a soft hum, like metal singing in the dark. And again, the shimmer under. Her skin returned, brighter now. The mother held her tight. No, stay calm, Lyra. I'm here. I'm here." The man leaned forward. "Is that normal for her?" "She's changing," the mother whispered. "I thought it was just her body, trying to heal, but it's not. It's something else." "What did they do to her?" The woman pressed her lips shut. "I don't know everything. But before we escaped, I heard whispers. They said her DNA woke something ancient. Something from the royal line, royal hour. World had rulers once, long gone, but their blood held power. Those who carry it can't be controlled. That's why they want her dead." He looked at the girl again. The glow was gone now. She breathed slow, steady. Then the outpost alarm beeped. One sharp sound low, masked, urgent. The man jumped to the panel. Motion detected. Outside perimeter. Unregistered movement approaching. His heart pounded. He grabbed his weapon and checked the window slit. Nothing visible yet, but the storm made it hard to see. "They found us," the mother whispered. He turned. "Are you sure?" She nodded fast. "They tracked the children. I tore the tag out when we fled, but she's awakening. I can feel it how. Many would come, enough to kill. Not ask questions." He moved to the door and locked it with a heavy steel bar. The fire dimmed behind him. The girl moaned softly again. The mother stood and walked to him. "If we don't leave, they'll burn this place down. You won't make it in the storm, then help us fight." He looked at her. She stood barefoot, bones thin, body broken by cold and fear. But her eyes burned with something stronger. The child made a soft gasp, panned the fire behind them, suddenly flared. Blue light danced on the walls for just a second. The man tightened. His grip on his weapon, he knew now. This wasn't just a girl on the run. This was a storm much greater than the one outside, and it had already entered his home. The wind outside grew louder, but it was nothing compared to what stirred inside the old outpost. Lyra lay still near the fire. Her small body looked calm, but the faint shimmer under her skin hadn't stopped. Every few minutes, a wave of soft, blue light pulsed across her arms or chest, gentle, but impossible to ignore. The man stood by the entrance, rifle in hand, eyes locked on the scanner. Motion, 70 meters, 2 targets, getting closer. Behind him, the alien mother paced back and forth, her bare feet silent on the stone floor. Her arms were crossed, not to warm herself, but to keep from shaking. He turned toward her. "I don't know how many are coming. Could be scouts. Could be more. We can't fight them all," she whispered. "Not if they send hunters. Not. If they send drones," he nodded once, thinking, "There's a back door. Leads into the mountain trench. Can take it when it's time." She walked closer. "And you, I'll stay. I built this place to be a last stand. Might as well use it for something real." Her jaw tightened. "We're not leaving you to die. You already offered to trade yourself once. Now you want to trade my life." The words hit her like a slap. She lowered her eyes, ashamed. "I thought you'd ask for something." That's what most men do when they see weakness. A mother and a daughter with nowhere to go. "I didn't expect kindness." He didn't move. "I don't need payment, just answers." "Is your daughter dangerous?" The mother turned toward Lyra. The child stirred again, whispering words in her sleep, words the man didn't understand. The firelight flickered as if reacting to her breath. "I don't know what she is anymore," the mother said. "She used to cry when she scraped her knee. Now she sleeps through pain. They called her defective, but I think they were afraid of her. What's happening to her? I heard things before we escaped. The scientists said she wasn't a weapon. She was a key to what they didn't say. But they kept her blood locked up, tested it daily, whatever they found in her. It scared them." The man watched the girl. "She doesn't look scary, she isn't. She's kind, gentle, but she's not normal." The scanner beeped again. 40 meters now. Faster. The man moved to the door and secured another lock. Then he brought a heavy box from the corner and placed it by the entrance. "Ammunition. Old, but it would fire. I'll hold them as long as I can," he said. "You take her and go if I say so. No questions. No arguments. I'm not leaving you," the mother said firmly. "You gave us warmth. You saved her life. You're the first person who treated us like people. I won't forget that." He didn't smile. Something in his shoulders relaxed. Then Lyra screamed. Both adults rushed to her. Her body was arched, her hands curled into fists. Out. Her chest glowed bright blue, like energy trapped inside her skin. The fire flared again, higher, hotter. The mother held her close. "Lyra, it's me. Mama's here. Please stay with me." The girl's eyes opened, but they were glowing. Not white, not blue. Something deeper. "Like the color of a star, right? Before it dies, I see them," she whispered. "They're almost here." The man looked at the scanner again. 20 meters. He turned to the mother. "Does she see the future?" "I don't know," she said, terrified. "Sometimes she speaks in dreams. Sometimes her voice isn't her own." Lyra sat up suddenly, her small hand reaching out. She touched the metal floor, and for a moment, the cold steel shimmered beneath her palm. The man stepped back, stunned. "She's waking something." Lyra turned her head slowly. Her eyes met his. Her voice came out clear. "Don't let them take me. If they touch me again, the sky will burn." He nodded. "They won't touch you, I promise." Outside, shadows moved in the storm. Figures. Tall. Armored. The scanner blinked. Red dot. They were here. He handed the mother a small blaster. "Can you shoot?" "Yes," she said, taking it without hesitation. "Good. Then stay close. Don't stop moving if I tell you to run." She looked at him. "Why are you helping us?" He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Because once, long ago, I had a daughter too. I couldn't save her. But maybe this time I could do something right." The fire burned hotter. The wind howled louder, and in the heart of the storm, 3 lives stood ready not for war, but for something far more dangerous: hope. The outpost trembled with every gust of wind, but the real storm was no longer outside. It stood at the edge of the valley, tall. Armored shapes moved like shadows with purpose. 4 of them, maybe 5. Their steps didn't crunch in the snow. They hovered just above it, machines of flesh and steel. Cold lights blinked from their shoulders, scanning the perimeter. Inside the outpost, the scanner flashed bright red. Warning, proximity breached. Units detected. I did. How's Shvered? Retrieval Division. The man gritted his teeth. He knew that name, Shvered. One of the high clans. Rich, cruel, ruthless. If they sent retrieval units, they weren't looking to negotiate. They were here to clean up what they called a mistake. Behind him, Lyra sat up completely for the first time. The firelight danced on her pale blue face. Her silver hair fell across her shoulders, glowing faintly. Her eyes, still bright with that strange power, stared straight at the door. "They're not here for me," she said softly. "They're here for what's inside me." Her mother rushed to her side. "Lyra, stay down. Stay warm. Don't move. Please. Your body can't handle this," but the girl didn't move out of fear. She sat calm, focused. Her hand rested on the floor. She could feel the heartbeat of the earth through it. "They're scared of me," she whispered. The man loaded his rifle. "Good. Let's give them something to be scared of." Moved to the window slit and watched as the lead figure stepped closer. The armor was sleek, silver black, its face hidden behind a mirrored mask. One of its hands transformed into a loudspeaker device. A static buzz filled the air. Then a voice, smooth and inhuman, returned the asset. "You are harboring illegal property. Stand down and hand over the specimen. This will be your only warning." The man didn't answer. He simply shut the window panel and placed another metal brace across the door. Behind him, the mother's hands trembled around the blaster. "Illegal property," she whispered. "That's what they call her." The man glanced at her. "She's a child, not a box, not a weapon, not an asset." The voice outside returned louder. "We are authorized to use force." "You have 30 seconds to comply." Lyra stood. She didn't. Just rise to her feet. She rose, slowly, her legs shaky, her breath uneven, but her spine straight. The blue light inside her grew stronger. The fire bent toward her like it knew who she was. Her mother gasped. Lyra stopped her still. "Healing? I can feel them," she said calmly. "They want to cage me again, but I remember now. I remember what they did. I remember the others who didn't make it." She stepped forward toward the door. The man held out his arm. "Oh, you don't fight this battle. I do. You can't stop them alone," she said without blinking. "Maybe not, but I can buy time. That's what grown-ups do for kids." Then she looked up at him, and something passed between them. No fear, just understanding. Outside, the 30 seconds ended. The door shook once, a loud metal slam, then again harder. A third time, and part of the lock cracked. The man aimed his rifle. The mother held her daughter tightly, trying to pull her back. Then, the final strike came. The door burst inward. The wind rushed in like a scream, and behind it for armored. Enforcers stepped through the doorway, but the fire didn't flicker. It roared. Lyra stepped in front of them. She raised one hand, and without touching anything, the air around her shimmered. Dust lifted from the floor. The flames leaned toward her. Her voice changed, deeper, older, as if someone else spoke through her. "Leave now, or this place will become your grave." The soldiers didn't answer. They raised their weapons. Lasers charged, lights pulsed, a countdown began. The mother screamed, covering her daughter. But the human man didn't move. He stepped in front of Lyra, rifle ready. "If she's a key," he said coldly, "then I'm the lock that won't open." The soldiers fired. But before the shots hit Lyra's body lit up like lightning. The blue shimmer burst into a wave of light, crackling through the air. The walls groaned. Every weapon in the room shut off in an instant. Sparks flew. Screams followed. 3 of the soldiers were thrown back outside as if hit by a shockwave. Only one remained on his knees. Mask cracked, steam rising from his armor. Looked at the girl with wide eyes and croaked, "She's not the key. She's the weapon they were afraid of." Then he collapsed. The outpost fell silent again. The wind moaned through the shattered door. Lyra dropped to her knees, exhausted. Her mother rushed to her, holding her tightly. "I've got you, baby. Dive." "Got you." The man slowly lowered his weapon. He looked at the girl's maul, shaking, glowing faintly. She wasn't just a child anymore. She was something else, and now the whole galaxy might come for her. Smoke drifted through the broken doorway. The wind carried the cold inside like a ghost, sweeping across the cracked floor. The fire struggled to stay alive. Metal sparks glowed where the lasers had struck. The outpost had survived, but it was no longer whole. Lyra lay curled in her mother's arms, breathing fast. Her glow had dimmed, but it still pulsed gently beneath her skin, like embers after lightning. The man stepped over the fallen intruder. The enforcer's helmet had split. Down the middle, underneath a face, half machine stared up, eyes frozen open in terror. He wasn't dead from the fall. He'd died from fear. The man grabbed the body by the armor and dragged it to the side. He kicked the heavy door shut and pulled the bent metal bar back into place, locking it as best he could. Then he turned. "We don't have long." That was it. Just a forward team. The mother rocked her daughter gently, wiping sweat from her face. "She's burning up. Her body can't handle what it just did. She'll have to rest somewhere safer. This place won't hold a second wave." The scanner blinked again. New signal. Multiple units approaching. 12 signatures. High-speed hover. 2 minutes out. The man's jaw clenched. "They're coming in full force now. I saw this kind of movement during border wars. They're not planning to take prisoners." He pulled open a hidden wall panel and grabbed a heavy black case. Inside, an old energy cannon, dusty but still functional. He tossed a small grenade belt to the mother. "Can you fight?" She looked up. "I've never killed anyone. But I'll kill for her." He nodded. "Good, they won't wait. And they'll shoot on sight now." The wind outside changed. It didn't howl. It hummed. Heavy. Engines. Big ones. The man moved to the window slit and saw them 6 hovercrafts cutting through the storm like knives. Bright red lights flashed across. Their hulls. Inside, soldiers sat still as statues. This wasn't just a retrieval team now. It was a purge. He turned back to the girl. "Lyra, can you hear me?" She opened her eyes slowly. "They're scared again. I can feel it." "No. They want to bury what they can't control. Can you stop them again?" She shook her head weakly. "It takes too much. I'm not ready. My body isn't strong." "Then we protect you until you are." The mother helped Lyra to her feet. The girl leaned against her, struggling to stand. The man moved to the back of the outpost, opened a trapdoor. Hidden under a rusted crate, a metal staircase led into a tunnel, cold, dark, carved into the rock. "This leads to the cliffside. I used it as a supply path." He pointed to a bag and a heater pack. "Take her through when you reach the split. Go left. There's a narrow ridge. You'll see a red flag. My old scout point. Stay there. Signal me with this." He handed the mother a flare. She hesitated. "What about you?" "I'll draw them in. Make them think you're still here." "If I fall?" "You keep going." "No," she said, voice sharp. "We survive together, or we die together." "Not today," he said. "She needs one of us. I'll keep them busy." "You protect her." The woman looked into his eyes, so human, so steady even. In the face of death, she nodded once and helped Lyra into the tunnel. As they vanished below, he sealed the trapdoor shut. Then he stood in the center of the outpost, armed and silent. The fire dimmed. The air thickened. Outside, the hovercrafts landed. The doors opened. 12 soldiers stepped out, each one taller, more armored than the last team. Their weapons buzzed with heat. Their eyes glowed beneath their helmets. They walked in perfect lines, forming a semicircle around the outpost entrance. Then came the command. burn the shelter. Extract what's left. They raised their guns. But the man was already waiting. He fired the energy cannon first. The blast lit up the storm, crashing through 2 soldiers at once. He ducked, rolled, launched a grenade. Snow exploded upward like a white volcano, but they kept coming. Blasts tore into the outer wall. The outpost shook. Metal cracked. Beams fell. The man gritted his teeth and fired again. Pushing through smoke and flame, heart pounding like a war drum. One shot hit him in the side. He stumbled, but didn't fall. Outside, one of the officers spoke into a cum. He's alone. The target must be hidden underground. Bring out the pulse scanner. They pulled a black device the size of a plate. It hummed, glowed, and beeped, dawed, then stopped. The officer frowned. No signal. They tried again. Still nothing. What is this before? He could finish. The scanner exploded in his hand. From deep in the ridge beyond the outpost, a blue light flashed through the snow. Lyra. The flare had gone up. They were still alive and watching. The battle wasn't over yet. The man smiled, threw the blood on his lip. They're stronger than you think, he muttered. And they're not running anymore. Snow covered the cliffs like a burial shroud. Wind lashed against the rocks, but deep in the ridge where the human once built his old scout point, a small red flag now danced wildly. Beneath it, hidden behind stone and frost, the alien mother held her daughter close. Lyra lay quiet, her cheek against her mother's chest. Her glow had faded, but something inside her had changed. Her breathing was slower now, not from weakness, but control. The mother pressed her ear to Lyra's lips. "Are you in pain?" Lyra opened her eyes. "No," she said softly. "But I'm not who I was before." The woman looked down, confused. "I remember things, visions, memories that don't belong to me, but feel like mine." She sat up, shaky at first. Hands hovered just above the snow. With a slow breath, the ice around her fingertips melted, leaving soft steam rising from her palms. The mother watched, silent. "I think they unlocked something before I escaped," Lyra said. "Or maybe they woke it up by accident. What is it, my love?" "What are you turning into?" Lyra looked toward the stormy sky. "It's not a weapon, not a curse. I'm something older, something their machines couldn't control. That's why they fear me." The mother felt her throat tighten. "What you are? You're still my daughter." Lyra touched her hand. "You kept me alive when they wanted me gone. You gave me your food, your warmth, your voice. I'll protect you now, I promise." Suddenly, the wind shifted. A low hum echoed across the valley. They weren't alone anymore. Below them, through a thin opening in the rocks, the mother saw figures moving through the snow. Not the human, not soldiers. New ones, different ones. Sleek ships. Black uniforms, faces covered in polished bone-white masks. They didn't march like soldiers. They drifted like shadows. "Who are they?" the mother whispered. Lyra squinted. "They're not from Veridin. These ones smell like silence. They don't speak. They just take." The mother held her tighter. "Can you stop them?" "Not yet. I need to grow. I need to break through something inside me." But I don't know how. The mother looked around. There was no shelter now, no weapons, no warmth. Only the wind, the ice, and her child's heartbeat. "We don't need power," the woman whispered. "We need love. We need memory. Let it guide you, Lyra. Let it guide you." Lyra closed her eyes. Her fingers dug slightly into the snow. Then something strange happened. The stone beneath them began to hum faintly, like a deep drum waking under the earth. The mountains seemed to breathe. Cold retreated slightly. The mother looked around in shock. "What is this?" Lyra's voice returned, decoing, layered, as if someone ancient spoke through her mouth. "I am not alone inside me. Others were. Made before me. They lived for seconds, minutes, days, then they vanished, but they left pieces behind. I carry them. I carry all of them." Then she opened her eyes. This time her pupils weren't just glowing. They were shaped like stars, fractal and endless, down below. The ghost soldiers stopped moving. One of them looked up directly at the ridge. He lifted a silver blade and pointed. "They saw us," the mother said. "We have to move," but Lyra didn't move. She stood slowly, walked to the edge of the rock, stretched out her arms. The snow didn't touch her. The wind curved around her, from the valley. 3 shots fired upward. They never made it. Each bolt froze in midair, trapped by invisible force, then crumbled. To ash. The mother gasped. Lyra floated half an inch above the snow now. "I know what they tried to make," she said, voice steady. "But I also know what they failed to understand from the clouds above." Lightning cracked, not white-blue. It struck the ridge behind her, then spread in a circle around them like a shield. The ghost soldiers down below stepped back. One raised. "A scanner. Target has activated defensive field. Origin signature Royal Class bioenergy. Confirmed. Repeat. Confirmed. Code tier forbidden. Request immediate override authority." Their message went silent. Lyra looked down at them, not in hate, not in rage, but in calm warning. "I'm not here to destroy you," she said aloud. "But if you come for my mother again, I will show you what true fear means." Suddenly, one of the black ships turned away. Then another. They were retreating. The rest followed, no words. No fire, only quiet submission. Down in the outpost ruins, the human man stared up toward the glowing ridge, blood on his shirt, weapon in hand. He saw the blue lightning. He saw them leave, and he smiled, even as he dropped to one knee, exhausted. Lyra had awakened, and the world now knew what they tried to bury had returned stronger than ever. The mountain ridge stood silent now. Snow drifted gently down, soft like feathers. No more engines, no more soldiers. No more shadows creeping through the ice. The storm had passed, but something greater had stayed behind. Lyra stood barefoot. On the cliff, hair glowing like woven silver, her hands warm against the cold air. She watched the black ships disappear into the clouds, their lights shrinking until nothing remained. Behind her, her mother sat on the stone, breathing slowly, heart still pounding from what she had witnessed. "I didn't know," the mother whispered. "I didn't know they created you to be this powerful." "They didn't," Lyra said gently. "They tried to build a weapon, but love made something else." She turned toward her, stepped closer, and knelt. "You kept me alive when everything else wanted me gone. That's why I didn't become a monster. That's why I became me." Her mother reached out and held her face. "You are my daughter. You always were. Power or not, light or dark. I don't care what the stars call you. To me, you're Lyra." Their foreheads touched. Then a sudden flare of red lit the sky far below. Down the valley the mother stood, eyes wide. "We left him alone too long." Lyra didn't speak. She closed her eyes. Her body shimmered again, but this time, not in pain. Her glow was steady, calm. She reached out her hand. The wind itself shifted. The snow under their feet swept forward, curling into a trail. "Come," she said. "I know where he is." They moved quickly down the ridge, feet never sinking. Into snow. The path ahead opened for them, nature itself bending around the girl, who now walked like a queen in a child's skin. The outpost came into view. Its roof had collapsed. The metal walls were blackened, torn. Smoke rose from the wreck, slow and curling like a signal to the stars at the edge of the ruins. Near a pile of broken beams, he lay, his rifle beside him, chest rising slow, face pale. "Please, the mother whispered. "Let him be alive." Lyra rushed forward and dropped beside him. Her hands hovered over his chest. His blood stained the snow. "He kept his promise," she said softly. "He stayed to protect us." The mother knelt beside her. "God, can you help him?" Lyra nodded once. "I don't know how much I can give," she said, her voice low, "but I'll give what I have." She placed her hands on his heart. The glow returned, brighter than ever. Not hot, not wild. Gentle. Her fingers lit up, and the light sank into him like water into dry earth. He gasped. His eyes flew open. For a moment, he looked lost, confused. Then he saw her. "Lyra," he whispered, "you're not allowed to leave." "Us," she said. "I said I'd protect Mama. That includes you now." The mother wiped her eyes and laughed through her tears. You stubborn, kind man. You didn't even ask our names then, still you gave us everything, he groaned and sat up with her help. Didn't need names. I saw who you were when you knocked on that door. That was enough, the three of them. Sat together in the snow. No more enemies came. No. More alarms rang. For the first time in their lives, there was peace. Later, when the sky cleared and the stars returned, Lyra sat by the fire they built near the old outpost ruins. She looked up. Others, like me, are out there, she said. Maybe not born yet, maybe lost. But I feel them now, the man stirred. What will you do? I'll find them someday. Not to lead them, not to fight, just to tell them they're not broken. Just like Mama told me, the mother smiled. And what about now? The man asked. Where will you go tonight? Lyra reached for both their hands, small fingers curling around rough skin and warm palms. I don't want to go anywhere, she said. I want to stay here, with both of you. You gave me a home. That's more than all the stars ever gave. The man looked at the alien mother beside him. She looked back, quiet, strong, beautiful, in a way pain could never steal. I can fix the outpost, he said. Make it stronger. Bigger. The mother raised an eyebrow. For what? Just the three of us for now, he said. But maybe one day others will knock. And when they do, we open the door without asking for payment? Lyra smiled. The stars above blinked, and the girl who was once thrown away for being weak, the girl whose mother begged to trade herself for a scrap of shelter, now sat between two protectors, not as a weapon, not as a key, but as a child who found home.